Now let's go ahead and highlight the 4 keys to the game that we talked about on the weekly matchup show. Key number 1, contain Keith Tostin or get toasted. Thumbs up for Oklahoma. You betcha. Big thumbs up, way up, as Tostin, he's used to averaging 5.5 yards a carry, and I still believe he should be first team all Big 12 running back because of the work that he's done throughout the season. One game doesn't deter that, but today he had only 47 yards on 10 carries. To put it into bigger perspective, Oklahoma's 2 backs, Chris Brown and DeMarco Murray, had more rushing yards. In fact, Jeremy Calhoun had 47 rushing yards, just as many as Tostin, and Calhoun is the 3rd string tailback. So that goes to show you that Oklahoma's defense, although they gave up a couple of long runs to Tostin, pretty much they had him contained all afternoon long. In fact, because of the way Oklahoma's defense played, it forced Oklahoma State to try different things because Tostin, again, only got 10 touches running the ball. He's used to more than that. So outstanding job by the interior and by the linebackers of Oklahoma. Number two key to this game that we highlighted from the weekly matchup show, Oklahoma, you better be able to run the ball successfully. Another thumbs up. Oklahoma State, one of the best teams in the country against the run. We talked about that. They're in the top 5 in rush defense. They give up just under 80 yards rushing a game. Today, Oklahoma, more than double that. In fact, they had well over 100 yards rushing on the day. We talked about Chris Brown. We talked about DeMarco Murray and also Jeremy Calhoun in mop time in the 4th quarter. But as you probably could tell by watching the game in the second half, the Cowboy defensive interior was getting tired. Oklahoma, slowly but surely, because of that time of possession factor in the game as the game went along, it was tougher for Oklahoma State to play defense. And thus, in the beginning, when Oklahoma had a hard time running the ball, because the defense did such an outstanding job for the Sooners, Oklahoma ended up getting the ball more often in the second half, and then Oklahoma State started to wear down, made it easier for the Sooners to run the football. And in fact, for Oklahoma, DeMarco Murray, 72 yards rushing, Chris Brown, 58 yards rushing. Overall, 143 yards rushing. Again, that's about double of what Oklahoma State allows. So I said Oklahoma had to run the ball successfully in order to win this game, and that was with an exclamation point. Good job by Oklahoma. Number 3, we're talking about 3rd down conversions, and when Oklahoma State gets those 3rd down conversions at about 50%, they win. If they don't, they have a tougher time winning. Same with Oklahoma. Thumbs up to Oklahoma. Now, I know the Sooners only converted 4 3rd downs out of about 17, less than 25%. I give Oklahoma a thumbs down because of this. Guess how many times Oklahoma State had 3rd down? 14. Guess how many 3rd down conversions they made? 0. Nada. When's the last time you heard of any team going 0 for 14 on 3rd down conversions? How big was that? Oklahoma State ended up punting the ball a whopping 14 times. That's right, 14 times. I know, again, Oklahoma on offense didn't have stellar 3rd down conversions, especially early, but the defense did its part. And Zach Robinson, we knew he wasn't 100%, but he was the best Oklahoma State had. And still, I think even if he was healthy, it still would have been difficult for the Cowboy offense to muster much on this day. It was simply the Oklahoma defense's day. And then key number 4, win by special means. Finally, a thumbs up to Oklahoma. In fact, one of the biggest thumbs up of the year. I know that Oklahoma missed a couple of field goals in this game. One was blocked and the other one was a high percentage field goal that missed wide to the right. But we give Oklahoma a thumbs up for several reasons. One, because of the punting. And normally I don't highlight punting on any type of a show I do, but you have to in this case. It simply cannot be ignored. Tress Way had 6 punts in this game. He averaged over 52 yards per punt. Outstanding. This was into the wind and with the wind. He even had a punt of over 70 yards. Tress Way constantly made Oklahoma State start a possession in their own territory, sometimes deep into their own territory. And of course, we talked about the Ryan Broyles punt return for a touchdown, an added gem for Oklahoma in what was a tremendous day if you're a Sooner fan. So again, Oklahoma 27-0, and as we mentioned, 7 victories in a row over the Cowboys. The Pokes, head coach Mike Gundy, still winless against Oklahoma, 0-7. As far as Oklahoma State, again, the BCS with the record of 9-3, it's out the window. They are looking very likely for a Cotton Bowl bid, which is still pretty good and it's still a good year for Oklahoma State, but they will never forget November 28, 2009, when Oklahoma kicked their tails. And it looks like the Cotton Bowl for Oklahoma State, probably they will play Arkansas or LSU, whoever wins that game. We don't know who's going to win the game because when we tape this show, the game hadn't started. But whoever wins that game tonight from Baton Rouge, it looks like they will play Oklahoma State. Now, as far as Oklahoma, several possibilities. The Alamo Bowl in San Antonio. If Oklahoma goes to that game, they'll play against a Big Ten school. Could be Northwestern. Don't really know. And then the Sun Bowl is a possibility. And boy, would the Sun Bowl salivate over a possible OU-USC showdown. That's right, the Trojans and the Sooners. That could happen. But we'll have to wait and see. We should find out something in the next week or two where Oklahoma is going to go bowling. So again, Oklahoma, despite the injuries, despite the inconsistent play this season, you know what? They end the season on a high note. And although the Sooners are not going to a BCS Bowl, neither is Oklahoma State. And for right now, that has to give Oklahoma a pretty gratifying feeling. And for Oklahoma State, their chance of going to a BCS Bowl game in the near future, it may not happen. Remember, they had 9 senior starters on defense, 6 on offense. That's 15 seniors who started this season for the Cowboys. So they're going to be very inexperienced next year, and that includes losing Zach Robinson, their quarterback, who had an outstanding career for the Cowboys but had a bad game today. Again, the Oklahoma defense came through, and the Oklahoma offense in the second half did as well. 27-0, the Sooners win. We will still have our Big 12 weekly rankings and matchup show that will come up sometime during the middle of next week, so check back with us. And we will have other shows coming up. I think we only have 4 shows left, counting the Big 12 ranking show next week. So long for now, and Boomer Sooner.